welcome to the content video for 5.1 Rates and Unit Rates from Course 1A Singapore Math. This chapter has 5 things to understand. So let's begin with the first one that says identify a unit rate. So first let's understand what's a unit rate. A unit rate compares a quantity to one unit of a different quantity. Okay? So let's say for example, somebody is paid $10 per hour. So this is a unit rate per hour, right? So this says it's a unit rate for every 1 hour, right? So per here denotes one. So for 1 hour, you are paid $10. So that's what unit rate is about. So it's just understanding what is unit rate. That's it. Okay. And the next here, express and compute unit rates in terms of time and other quantities. So it's basically we are talking here in terms of time and other quantities. So for example, let's say that you can solve 20 questions. Wow, that's good. In 2 hours. You solve 20 questions in 2 hours. Then how many questions do you solve in 1 hour? Okay, so we are trying to compute unit rate here in terms of time because I have 20 questions for 2 hours. What's your unit rate per hour? How many questions do you solve? So that's what we do here. So for 1 hour, you say 20 questions divided by 2 hours. So that's questions and that's hours. So that's how you will know how many questions you solve in an hour. So this is of course ones and that's 10. So the answer here is 10 questions per hour, right? So you computed unit rate. You computed how many questions you can solve per hour. So that's what you do it here. So that is in terms of time. Okay. Now the next part here, find a unit rate, is almost like this, but here we do not get involved with time. So let's understand that here. For example, you got 10 pence and you paid $100 for that. So here we are not talking in terms of time, okay? So you got 10 pence for $100. What's the cost of 1 pen? So again, you're finding a unit rate, right? You're finding the cost of a pen, 1 pen. So how do you solve that? That is $100 divided by 10 pence. And this is ones and that's 10. So that's $10 per pen, unit rate per pen, right? So that's what you do here. So they're very simple topics, very simple things to understand. You know cost of so many things, you find cost of one. So it's basically finding unit rate. Okay, let's go to the next part here. Find and compare unit rates. So here it's same thing you find, but at the same time you also compare them. So let's say for example, we have different types of pens: pen A, pen B, and pen C. Let's say the number of pens 2 here, 5 here, and 4 here. And we say the cost. That's 10, that's 15, that's 12. Now here you're going to find unit cost, okay? And for that, we do the same thing. How do you find unit cost? So you will say here it is 10 divided by 2, and that's 5. This will be 15 divided by 5, that's 3. And this is 12 divided by 4, again 3. Okay, so you're finding unit cost, right? The cost of one. And for what you're finding, that's very important. That's what I'm going to explain you here. You're finding unit cost here for a pen, right? Your denominator will have pen, okay? Not the numerator, it's the denominator. At the bottom, you will have pen because you're finding the cost of 1 pen, okay? So be careful with that. If you do 2 over 10, that's wrong, okay? So be careful. The cost, the unit rate for what you're finding will come there in the denominator. That's very important to understand. And now here, what do? We are done with finding the cost, right? Now comes comparing. For comparing, we do this. If you had to compare this, it's difficult because they do not have standard numbers. They do not have the same numbers of pens, or they do not have the same cost there. And that's why you need unit rate, because students are like, why do we need to do this? But this is for comparison, to know which pen is expensive expensive or which pen is cheaper. So here the question could be find the most expensive pen, then you know it is A. Okay, or if the question is which two pens have the same cost, then you know this is the answer. So that's why unit rates are important. And now we go to this last part which says find a quantity given the unit rate. So here unit rates are already given to you and you got to find the quantity. For example, you take 5 minutes to solve one question. What's the objective here? Find the quantity given the unit rate. So the unit rate is here. Now we got to find the quantity. So the question is for 7 questions, how much time will you take? Here it is times 7, right? One question to 7 questions. Same thing you do here, times 7. So you're going to take 35 minutes. So basically, you multiply this two in a way, right? So here unit rates are given and you got to find the quantity. So you take the unit rate and multiply that with for what you need. So here you need it for 7 questions. So you multiply that with 5 minutes over here. Okay. So this is what we have in this chapter. That's it. It's all about unit rate and finding the quantity, and they're very simple things as I said before. And be careful with this thing here, that whatever you are doing, you are finding unit rate for what comes in denominator, not in the numerator. And when you have to find quantity, it's multiplication. That's it. So we shall meet soon in the independent practice for this chapter. Until then, keep watching and keep learning. Goodbye.